The complexity of needs of people with IDD who have experienced trauma can combine to create high intensity jobs. This is due to the high needs of people with IDD, the high needs of their caregivers, multi agency involvement, administrative demands such as paperwork and office management, and high caseloads. Programming for people with IDD often includes intricate behavioral support plans, risk reduction plans, and habilitation plans, each of which requires attention to behavior, skills to teach, and documentation. This is often challenging for even the highly trained behavioral clinician. Providers can experience high stress levels and burnout and can feel ill equipped to manage all of the aspects of care. People with IDD and trauma exposure may have challenging behavior. Behavioral problems create significant challenges in providing safety and support to providers and consumers, as they often require high levels of supervision and result in increased rates of staff injuries, leading to high staff turnover. Identifying adaptations that can be made for people with IDD may feel rewarding at times and frustrating at other times. This high turnover, emotional instability, and provider burnout lead to reduced physical and emotional safety for people with IDD and staff. Many of us unconsciously absorb the traumas of the people with IDD and the caregivers that we work with. Every day we hear their stories and watch the difficulties of those stories play out in front of us. For professionals involved in the care of traumatized people with IDD and their caregivers, the essential act of listening to trauma stories may take an emotional toll that can compromise professional functioning and may diminish quality of life. As a result, many of us may experience secondary traumatic stress, also sometimes referred to as compassion fatigue. Hearing their stories and dealing with the aftermath of their traumas, including their behavior, thinking, and emotional responses, can lead to the development of traumatic stress responses in ourselves. The potentially traumatic etiology of the IDD, or traumatic experience, such as NICU exposure, other medical trauma, a traumatic brain injury due to an accident, and the traumatic aspects of the loss of the idealized person, can result in secondary traumatic stress and vicarious traumatization for both the caregiver and the provider. Providers may feel more angry and distressed when hearing about a traumatic experience of a person with IDD. Hearing these types of stories over and over again may become anguishing or enraging. What are the types of situations or feelings that might result in secondary traumatic stress among providers who work with people with IDD? Some examples that some people have mentioned include feelings of isolation, fear or internalized bias about working with people with IDD, guilt about punishing people with IDD too hard, feelings of helplessness, feelings of resentment due to challenges inherent in working with multiple systems, such as lack of communication between different systems, feelings of guilt about things we can't do, and recognition that some types of IDD create more stress for us than others. As we pointed out, secondary traumatic stress refers to the development of post-traumatic stress symptoms caused by exposure to traumatic material. Exposure to traumatic material can happen in multiple ways. What a person or their caregiver tells you or says in your presence, the person's play, written drawings, or written stories, the person's reenactments of trauma reminders, media coverage, case reports, or other documents about the trauma. Take a moment to think about the people you work with. Many of you experience difficult situations that have caused you to lose sleep, worry, or be anxious. Because of the work we do as helping professionals, it is easy to overlook symptoms of secondary traumatic stress. The following are some warning signs that indicate you could be experiencing secondary traumatic stress. Chronic exhaustion. You feel as if you don't have the time or energy to do all that needs to be done. You may wonder whether what you are doing constitutes worthwhile work. Disconnection or empathic numbing. You may feel so overwhelmed that you shut down or become numb to the stories you hear. You may feel you have lost your empathy. Social withdrawal. You turn down social engagements, withdraw from intimacy with your partner, and overlook commitments you have made with other people in your life. Avoidance. The phone rings, and you think, I'm not going to answer it. You see your message light beeping, and you ignore it. Your alarm clock goes off, and you think of all the reasons you can't go in that day. Boundaries. You compensate by switching into what you believe is high gear. You spend more time at work, take more work home, give up outside work activities to get to work earlier, and then leave later. You make executive decisions that may intrude on the work areas or job functions of others because you believe it's more efficient than asking someone's opinion. Anger or cynicism. You begin to think that there is no hope. You are suspicious of everyone's motives. Diminished self-care. You or your friends and family begin to notice that you are not doing what you used to do to take care of yourself. You may be less concerned about your appearance, or exercising, or taking care of yourself in other important ways. Illness. You may begin to experience pain or illnesses. Your body is telling you that it is overwhelmed. Survival coping. Instead of going to that happy hour once a week, it becomes a daily ritual on the way home. When our coping mechanisms are significantly challenged and overwhelmed, we also experience symptoms similar to those of the people who have had traumatic experiences whom we serve. Now let's take a look at our own warning signs. You'll now do an activity entitled Stress Warning Signs.